Hello, today I'm back with another strategy review. One of our subscribers sent this strategy to me and it comes from a YouTube video, and I have here a screenshot from the opening of that video, and the title here, Stop Using the MACD Blindly, Best 1-2-3 Stochastic MACD Trading Strategy 100% Effective. Now what's not to like about something that's 100% effective? If you are looking at the thumbnails, this is the thumbnail that you'll see for it on any search page. There is a link in the description of this original video that takes you to a web page where it's described in a little bit more detail. And this is a screenshot of the web page and the URL for the original video and this web page. I'll put them both in the description to this video. I did find some inconsistency between the video and the description on this web page. The web page also includes further down this button, Download Trading System. Now don't be caught up by any of the other buttons you might see on the page. There's a lot of advertising on this page. But this Download Trading System actually downloads the system for this strategy. So I thought, this is great. I can just download the trading system, run the expert, run some tests, and that will make my life easier. But let's have a look at what you get when you download the trading system. Now if you download the trading system, as the button says, from the website, you get a RAR file with these contents, indicator, templates, and URL.txt. The URL.txt simply contains a link back to the original website. The indicator contains this MACD colored.ex4, so this is working on MetaTrader 4 only. And this is simply a modified version of the MACD, and I'll explain in a moment why I didn't use that, and I'll load it up onto the screen. The templates just contains this tradeversity.tpl. A template file, if you don't know, simply sets up the screen for you in MetaTrader. It can load indicators, it can load experts, it can change colors and so on. It's all the basic settings of the appearance of your chart on MetaTrader saved as a template. And so if you load this template file onto a chart in MetaTrader, it will add the indicators, the stochastic, the RSI, and the MACD. But there's nothing in this download that is an actual expert advisor, so don't be fooled by that. This is all you get, an indicator and a template file that loads those indicators onto the chart. Let's just jump over to a chart and I'll load that template in and show you what you get. Now on this chart, I have loaded the template from the download from Tradeversity just to show what you get. It's firstly changed the colors, but that's just cosmetic. And I've also changed the size of these windows. I've shortened the main chart a little so that we get more space on these three other charts. The stochastic that it's inserted here, that's a standard stochastic indicator. The RSI is a standard RSI indicator. Then there is this colored MACD, and the indicator for this is part of the download, but it's an ex4 file. So if you want to see this, you'll have to load up MetaTrader 4. Now I didn't use the colored MACD that is supplied with the download. I used the standard MACD, and I'll just switch to another chart and show you why. So here I've already loaded the colored MACD and the standard MACD, and I've changed the colors to make this a little easier to see. I've removed the other two charts, the stochastic and the RSI. At the bottom here I have the standard MACD that's supplied with MetaTrader, and it is a one-line and histogram MACD version. The colored has 2 lines and a histogram. The reason I didn't need to use the colored MACD is that there's nothing additional in that indicator that I need for the expert advisor. And to show, I've colored the histogram here in the standard MACD blue, and I've also colored the MACD line then in the colored MACD as blue. And if you look closely, you can see that the values of those are actually the same. So the blue line showing in the colored MACD is just the edge of the histogram shown in the standard MACD. So there's nothing additional in the MACD value from the supplied indicator. The signal line I've colored in yellow on both. And if you look closely, you can see that the signal line in the standard MACD is the same as the signal line in the colored MACD that's supplied from Tradeversity. So again, no difference there. And those are the only 2 values that are used as part of the expert advisor. So I didn't need to worry about anything more, and I'm just using the standard MACD because that makes the expert advisor a little more portable for me. But just to explain the rest of this colored MACD here, there is then this histogram. The value of the histogram is just the difference between the MACD line and the signal line. So you can see when the blue MACD line is below the signal line, the histogram is negative, and when the blue MACD line goes above the yellow line, the histogram becomes positive. The colors in the histogram then are determined based on a comparison of each bar with the previous bar. So here, the bars are becoming more negative. So each bar is a lower negative value than the bar before, and so that's one color. Then the color changes here while the histogram is still negative, but the negative value is decreasing or coming back closer to zero. When the histogram goes positive, these bars are showing it's positive and an increasing value. And then when there is a decrease in the value of that histogram, we've got 1 here and 3 here, that changes color again. So the colored bars are simply saying whether the histogram is increasing in a negative direction, decreasing on the negative, increasing on the positive, or decreasing on the positive. It's not something I would normally use in an expert advisor because it's just as easy to calculate those values. In fact, it's easier to calculate them than it is to go and get the values from an indicator, but it might be useful for you if you're just looking at these on screen. So that indicator is supplied with the download from Traderversity, but in my expert advisor, I've just used the standard MACD because it's faster and it has everything that I need. And so I found inconsistencies between the video, the web page, and the information in the downloaded trading system. So I've actually come up with a kind of hybrid view to all of this, where I've taken the description of the strategy from the web page, and I've taken the settings for the indicators from the download trading system. So in summary, the trading rules are that we wait for the stochastic to become overbought or oversold. Now the stochastic doesn't need to stay overbought or oversold. That's simply a trigger. Once it becomes overbought, then we're ready to sell. And if it becomes oversold, then we're ready to buy. And the rest of the tests come after that. Next is the RSI. And this is the same as the stochastic in that it doesn't need to be in this condition when we take the trade. It just needs to reach this condition. So after the stochastic becomes overbought, the RSI needs to show a downtrend. And after the stochastic becomes oversold, the RSI needs to show an uptrend. So that will confirm the direction of the trading. And then the final test is to wait for the MACD. If the MACD line crosses to below the signal line, then that's the sell signal. And if the MACD crosses to above the signal line, then that's the buy signal. So in order, if the stochastic becomes overbought, and then the RSI shows a downtrend, and then the MACD crosses below the signal line, that is a sell. If the stochastic becomes oversold, and then the RSI shows an uptrend, and then the MACD crosses above the signal line, that's a buy signal. Now we must always watch that at the point where the MACD crosses, the other two cannot have changed direction. So if we begin with an overbought stochastic, and then before the MACD crosses below, we get an oversold stochastic, then that's a false signal. So these three must happen in that sequence. They can happen at the same time, but they must all have been true before we take the trade. The stop loss is set at a recent swing high, swing low, and to detect these swing high and low, I'm using a fairly simple formula. I'm detecting the highest high or lowest low with 5 bars to either side. And the strategy says to have a take profit to stop loss ratio of 1:1 or 2:1. So I'm going to run 2 sets of tests, one with each of these ratios. I'm running the test on MetaTrader 5, and I'm running it for the period from 1st of January 21 to the 1st of January 23. So that's 2 years of data. The rest of the settings are taken directly from the template file that is supplied in the download from Traderversity. That template file was set for a 30-minute chart, had the stochastic set at 14.33, the RSI at 8, and the MACD at 12.26.9. These may not be ideal settings, but that's what comes in the template file, and so that's what I've decided to test. I'm running on 6 different symbols: pound dollar, euro dollar, dollar Swiss, Aussie dollar, euro pound, and pound Aussie. So I've got 2 crosses in here. And I'm running them on a fixed lot size of 0.01. Now this is a very small lot size, so I won't see a lot of profit or loss in the test, but the purpose is to show whether the strategy runs at profit or loss. So if you wanted to try running a larger lot size, you can simply scale the results by a factor based on this lot size. But this is just to show profit or loss on these trades. I have MetaTrader 5 open now, and I have the strategy tester here. I've loaded my expert advisor, srm.ex5. I'm going to be running across these 6 symbols: GBP USD, Euro USD, Dollar Swiss, Aussie US, Euro Pound, and Pound Aussie. The template file that I downloaded from Tradeversity had the chart set to 30 minutes, so I'm using a 30-minute time frame here. I'm starting with GBP USD. I'm using a custom period from 1st of January 21 to 1st of January 23, so I'll get 2 years of data. You can see here I've got 0 latency. I'm testing every tick. Now, although I'm starting with a $100,000 account, I'm still testing this with a 0.01 lot size on each of these symbols. That's the smallest lot size that I can run, and it's really just to show whether the strategy is profitable or not how much it can produce. Going to the inputs, these are the standard inputs, and these are based on the data from the uploaded template file. So the template file used a stochastic period of 14 with D and slowing of 3 and 3, simple moving average method, and using the low high price. The RSI period from the template file was 8 periods on the closing price, and the MACD was 12.26.9 on the closing price. The strategy suggests a take profit of 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 ratio. I'm starting out with 1-to-1. I will run a second set of tests that I won't show on screen, but I'll add the results to the table at the end, where I'm going to run this with a take profit ratio of 2. My trade volume, as I said, 0.01, and then there's just the magic number and a trade comment. So all of these inputs will be the same for each of these currencies. So I'll run these tests now, and at the end I'll show the table of the results. And all of these results, the full test results from the back test, will be uploaded on the website, so you can see the full detail if you like. So now looking at the test results, and if you watched the graphs form, you would have seen that the results are not good. Now the lot sizes are only 0.01, so these are not large losses on a $100,000 account, but if you simply scaled this to match the account size, the profits are simply going to multiply by the same factor. We had roughly the same number of trades for each symbol, all over 1100, 1116, 1170, 71, 25, 39, 74. The win to loss ratio is roughly the same for each of these symbols, and of course the profits are all negative, so there's losses everywhere. That's for the take profit ratio 1-to-1. Let me go to the results for the take profit ratio 2-to-1. For the take profit ratio of 2-to-1, we've got the same number of trades, although I do note that the GBP USD changed. I'm not quite sure why that is, but it's one trade, and I don't think that's a significant impact on the results. The win-loss ratio has changed. So by making a take profit ratio of 2-to-1, we've made it harder for the price to reach that take profit. So I expect that the number of wins would go down and the number of losses would increase. But the theory behind a higher take profit ratio is that the wins are larger and that offsets the losses by more. But in reality, in this particular strategy, and possibly because the stop losses are all based on a recent swing, high or low, the losses are actually higher with the take profit ratio 2-to-1. In fact, let me bring up another page where I will show these in comparison side by side. So these win-loss ratios showing on this chart are from the 2-to-1. What I've got the profit 2-to-1 here in this column and the profit 1-to-1 in the right-hand column. And you can see that with a profit ratio of 1-to-1, the losses are lower than they were with a profit ratio of 2-to-1. So it actually makes the strategy worse to increase the take profit stop loss ratio. As the note here says, if you go to our website, and there will be a link in the description, then you can see these results in detail. You'll see the results that I've actually downloaded directly from MetaTrader, and you can see the entire web page result for each of these symbols if you just click on the symbol in the charts that are shown. So now you've seen the results from my 6 symbols run twice, once with a take profit ratio of 1-to-1 and with a take profit ratio of 2-to-1 over a 2-year period, using the back tester on MetaTrader 5. If I wanted to put out a video where I showed some enormous profit levels, the typical clickbait type title, here's how I might do it using this exact strategy. So I've made no changes to the strategy itself. This is the same expert advisor. I've got Euro USD. I'm running the same time frame. Now let's just run this once as a benchmark. Now in this back test, I've lost $181.71. That's running a 0.01 lot size over 2 years. If I look at the graph, you can see a number of ups and downs, but mostly downward trending. But just here, I can see I've got a significant upward slope. And if I just put my cursor at the bottom there, that is 25th of August 22. Just pick this high point. That's the 8th of September 22. And this high point is the 21st of September 22. So I'm going to change my time frame and run from the 25th of August to the 25th of September 22. So here are my times changed: 25th of August 22, 25th of September 22. Let's just run that. No other changes made so far. And now my backtest magically has a profit, $66.15, obviously far better than a loss of $180, and the graph has a nice upward slope to it. So now let's squeeze this for all it's worth. I'll go to the inputs. I'm going to change my lot size. Let's start with a lot size of 1. And now my result is $6,613. Well, I started with $100,000, so let's really push this. With a trade volume now of 20 lots per trade. And now I have a total net profit of $132,270, or 132% in a period of 1 month. And there's the clickbait title that I would put out. 132% profit in 1 month. Here's the graph, nice upward sloping graph. It looks much the same as it did with the smaller lot size, simply because this is just the shape of the graph. But the backtest results are enormous. And that's all it takes to put out a title that shows a superior winning strategy, just by choosing the right time frame, having the right settings, and just letting it run. And you can see that all I've done here is choose a period where I knew that it was making a consistent profit. And then the only change in the inputs has been to change the lot size. And in fact, I could probably bump this up further. Let me go to something like 40 lots. And there we go, 264% profit in 30 days. Who wouldn't want to watch a video about that? So the point of this little segment in my video is just to warn you about those kind of clickbait titles and expecting to make enormous profits out of these strategies. Now, I will make this expert as written and tested available for download. I'll probably put it onto the MetaTrader market. I'll leave a link in the description or a comment when that happens. I just have to get it past the MetaTrader testing. Now, this is based on the default values for the strategy. You may want to change some of those. There may be some other things you can change, such as whether there is an exit on a reverse indication, something like that. If I create a modified version of the expert that will handle other conditions, then I'll also make that available for download somewhere. I hope this has been useful to you. If it has, then remember to click the like button. And if you want to see more of our videos, click subscribe and then click the bell icon to be notified when we release new videos. Thank you for watching.